The morning sun painted the Montana sky orange as Jake Morrison looked through his binoculars at the strange shapes moving across the clouds. They were not birds, they were not planes, they were something else entirely, something that had traveled from very far away to find Earth. Jake pressed a button on his radio. Base command, this is Jake. They are here, 12 ships, maybe more, coming in from the north. A woman's voice crackled back through the radio. Copy that, Jake. Stay hidden. Do not move until we give the signal. Jake smiled a little. He had been waiting for this moment his whole life. His father had waited for it. His grandfather too. For 50 years, humans had been getting ready for visitors from space. Not the kind visitors that bring gifts and want to be friends. The other kind. The kind that take what they want. 300 feet below Jake's feet, 10,000 people lived and worked in a city carved into the rock. They had shopping centers and schools and parks with real grass. They had factories that made weapons and ships. They had everything a city needed. But if someone looked down from space, they would see only trees and grass and a few deer walking around. The alien ships moved lower. Jake could see them better now. They were gray and smooth, like giant teardrops floating in the air. They made no sound. One of them stopped right above Jake's position and began to scan the ground below. Jake did not move. He wore special clothes that made his body heat look like a bear's body heat to alien scanners. His heartbeat was masked by a small device in his chest. To the aliens, he was just another animal living in the woods. In a bunker 50 miles away, Amy Foster watched dozens of screens showing what the alien scanners were seeing. The pictures showed forests, rivers, mountains, and animals. Lots of animals. Bears, deer, wolves, birds, and fish. What the pictures did not show were the 6 billion humans living in hidden cities all around the world. Their scans are working perfectly, Amy said to her team. They see exactly what we want them to see. Amy had spent 10 years learning how to fool alien technology. Her computers could make a subway train full of people look like a herd of buffalo. They could make a fighter jet look like an eagle. They could make an entire city look like a lake. On the main alien ship, Commander Vex studied the scanning reports. His blue skin wrinkled as he frowned at the data. This planet shows no signs of intelligent life, he said to his crew, only primitive animals. The mineral scans show excellent deposits of rare metals. We can begin mining operations immediately. Science Officer Keth nodded. Yes, Commander. The planet appears to be perfect for our needs. No resistance expected. No treaties needed. We can claim it under the Empire's expansion laws. What Keth did not know was that his perfect planet had more weapons pointed at his ships than any world in the galaxy. What he thought were mountain ranges were actually massive defense installations. What he thought were forests were camouflaged military bases. What he thought were herds of animals were actually human soldiers waiting for orders. Dr. Kevin Clark sat in his laboratory deep under what the aliens thought was Yellowstone National Park. His screens showed the alien ships and their scanning patterns. For 30 years, Kevin had worked on making humans invisible to alien technology. His greatest invention was the biosignature mask. It made human life signs look exactly like animal life signs. They are buying it completely. Kevin said to his assistant, every human on the planet is reading as local wildlife on their scans. The assistant, a young woman named Carol, looked worried. What if they decide to land and take a closer look? Kevin smiled. Then they will see deer and bears and birds, because that is exactly what our surface teams look like to anyone watching. Above ground, Captain Lisa Turner led a team of 50 soldiers through the forest, but to alien eyes, they looked like a pack of wolves hunting for food. Their equipment was hidden in fake fur and artificial bodies. Their weapons looked like rocks and sticks. Even their footprints were designed to look like animal tracks. Lisa's radio whispered in her ear, Wolf Pack Leader, this is base. Hold position. Do not engage. Let them finish their scans. Copy. Base, we are just a bunch of hungry wolves looking for rabbits. The alien ships spread out across the planet. They scanned Africa and saw elephants and lions. They scanned Asia and saw tigers and pandas. They scanned Europe and saw deer and wild boar. They scanned the oceans and saw whales and dolphins. Everywhere they looked, they saw a planet full of beautiful, harmless animals. What they did not see were the underground cities of Lagos, Mumbai, Berlin, and Tokyo. They did not see the hidden spaceports in the Sahara Desert and the Amazon rainforest. They did not see the weapon factories under the ice in Antarctica. They did not see the massive defense computers hidden in caves. Around the world. Commander Vex made his decision. Prepare the colonization fleet. This world will be ours within the month. The Empire will be pleased with such an easy conquest. But far below the surface, in bunkers and tunnels and hidden cities, 6 billion humans were getting ready to show the aliens just how wrong they were. The greatest deception in human history was about to end. And when it did, the galaxy would learn that sometimes the most dangerous predator is the one that looks like prey. Jake Morrison adjusted his binoculars and watched the alien ships move toward the horizon. He pressed his radio button one more time. Base command, this is Jake. The fish have taken the bait. They think we are just animals down here. Copy that, Jake. Soon they will learn that these animals have very sharp teeth. Deep under the Colorado mountains, Admiral Susan Hayes walked into the biggest room most people had never seen. The Global Defense Council chamber was carved from solid rock and filled with screens, showing every part of Earth. 200 leaders from every nation sat at a massive round table that had been built 50 years ago. For this exact moment, ladies and gentlemen, Susan said, her voice echoing in the huge space. The aliens have finished their scans. They believe Earth is uninhabited except for wildlife. They are calling for their colonization fleet. A man from the African Union stood up. How long do we have? Intelligence says 3 weeks before their main force arrives. But we cannot wait that long. If we let them establish a base, we lose our advantage. Susan pressed a button, and the walls filled with images of alien ships. Operation Awakening begins at dawn tomorrow. Every human on Earth will reveal themselves at exactly 6 in the morning. Greenwich time. We get one chance to surprise them. After that, we fight with everything we have. The room fell silent. Everyone knew this moment would come someday. Their grandparents had prepared for it. Their parents had trained for it. Now it was their turn. On the main alien ship floating high above the Pacific Ocean, Commander Vex stood before a holographic map of Earth. Blue dots marked the best locations for mining operations. Green areas showed where they would build their first cities. Red zones indicated places where the local animals might need to be cleared away. The planet is even better than we hoped, Vex told his officers. Rich mineral deposits everywhere, clean water, perfect atmosphere, and best of all, no intelligent life to negotiate with or fight. Science Officer Keth pointed to several areas on the map. Commander, I recommend we start mining operations here, and here. The metal concentrations are extremely high. We can extract enough materials to build 100 new ships. What Keth did not know was that his mining sites were directly above 3 of Earth's largest hidden cities. The high metal concentrations were actually the titanium and steel frames of underground buildings and defense systems. He was essentially planning to dig up downtown Tokyo, underground Mumbai, and hidden Sao Paulo. Excellent, Vex said. Begin preparations for planetary landing. I want mining equipment on the surface within 10 days. Far below the ocean, Captain Ryan Parker walked through the halls of Area 77, humanity's most secret weapons facility. The base was built inside an underwater mountain that alien scanners read as just another part of the sea floor. Thousands of engineers worked day and night building the tools Earth would need to defend itself. Ryan stopped at a window overlooking the main construction bay. Inside, workers were putting the final touches on fighters that looked exactly like large birds when their stealth systems were active. Each plane could fly at 3 times the speed of sound while appearing on enemy sensors as a simple eagle or hawk. How many are ready? Ryan asked his chief engineer, a woman named Betty Collins. 2,000 fighters finished this morning. Another 1,000 will be ready by tomorrow. The pilots have been training in simulators for years. They know exactly what to do. Ryan nodded. The pilots had indeed been training their entire lives. Every child born in the hidden cities learned to fly before they learned to drive. It was not a hobby. It was survival training for the day Earth would have to fight for its life. In the training center next door, Captain Lisa Turner briefed her squadron of 100 pilots. These men and women had never seen the surface of Earth except through carefully controlled missions. They had been born underground and raised to be warriors. Tomorrow morning, you will finally get to use everything you have learned, Lisa told them. Remember, the aliens think we are animals. They will not expect us to have technology better than theirs. Use that surprise. Hit them hard and fast. A young pilot named Danny raised his hand. Captain, what if their ships are too strong? For our weapons, Lisa smiled. Danny, our weapons were built specifically to destroy their ships. We have been studying alien technology for 50 years. We know exactly where to hit them to make them fall out of the sky. This was true. Every alien ship that had ever entered human space had been carefully examined. Every weakness had been found and recorded. Human weapons were designed to exploit those exact weaknesses. Above ground, teams of soldiers prepared for their part in Operation Awakening to alien scanners. They still looked like herds of deer, packs of wolves, and flocks of birds. But hidden inside their biological disguises were weapons that could destroy tanks. Sergeant Mike Chen led a team of 30 soldiers across a field in Kansas. Their mission was simple. When the signal came, they would shed their animal disguises and take control of the alien landing site that intelligence said would be built right where they were walking. Remember, Mike told his team through their hidden radios, we have been invisible for 50 years. Tomorrow, we become the most visible thing on this planet. Make it count. Dr. Kevin Clark made final adjustments to the planetary camouflage system. For decades, his computers had fooled every alien scanner that looked at Earth. Tomorrow, he would turn off those systems and let the world see what humanity had really built. Are you ready? His assistant Carol asked. Kevin looked at his screens showing 6 billion hidden humans preparing for war. Ready as we will ever be. Tomorrow, they learn that the wildlife they have been watching knows how to bite back. Commander Vex stood on his ship's observation deck, looking down at the beautiful blue and green planet below. He had no idea that, at that very moment, millions of humans were looking back up at him through hidden telescopes and targeting systems. The trap was set. The prey was about to become the predator. At exactly 6 in the morning Greenwich time, Dr. Kevin Clark pressed a single red button in his laboratory deep under Yellowstone. Around the world, every camouflage system shut down at the same moment. For the first time in 50 years, Earth showed its true face to the universe. The ground began to shake. What looked like natural hills started to split open like giant flowers blooming. Metal and glass buildings rose from the earth, reaching toward the sky. Roads appeared where there had been empty fields. Bridges extended across rivers that had seemed untouched by human hands. In New York, Central Park folded back like a green carpet, revealing a gleaming city underneath. The lake in the middle was actually the roof of a massive shopping center. The trees around the edges were disguised communication towers and defense systems. Jake Morrison stood on what had appeared to be a simple hill in Montana. As the camouflage fell away, he found himself on top of a 50-story building. All around him, a city of 2 million people was rising from hiding. Cars emerged from underground tunnels. Planes took off from runways that had been invisible moments before. This is it, Jake said into his radio. Time to show these aliens what Earth really looks like. On the main alien ship, alarms began screaming. Commander Vex ran to the scanning station where Science Officer Keth was staring at his screens, with his mouth open. Commander, Keth shouted, the planet is changing. The animals, they are disappearing. Cities are appearing everywhere. Vex looked at the main display screen, where moments before he had seen forests and lakes, he now saw massive human cities, stretching as far as the cameras could show. Millions of buildings, billions of lights, roads full of vehicles, skies full of aircraft. This is impossible, Vex whispered. Our scans showed only wildlife, only animals. Sir, another officer called out. We are detecting energy signatures from the surface, massive power sources. And sir, They are targeting us. Vex realized the horrible truth. The uninhabited planet was actually home to the largest civilization he had ever seen. And now that civilization was looking up at his ships with very unfriendly intentions. Captain Lisa Turner sat in the cockpit of her fighter, watching her instruments come to life. Around her, 2,000 other pilots were doing the same thing. For their entire lives, they had trained for this moment. All wings, this is Flight Leader. Lisa said into her radio. Stealth mode off. Weapons online. Show these aliens what human engineering can do. Lisa's plane had been disguised as a large eagle circling high above the clouds. Now it revealed itself as a sleek fighter armed with missiles designed specifically to destroy alien ships. Its engines roared to life, pushing it to speeds no eagle had ever dreamed of. All across Earth's skies, what had appeared to be flocks of birds suddenly became squadrons of advanced fighters. What had looked like butterflies became small, but deadly attack drones. Even what had seemed like clouds were actually cloaked battle platforms carrying heavy weapons. On the ground, Sergeant Mike Chen threw off his deer disguise and stood up in the Kansas field. Around him, 30 other deer did the same thing, revealing themselves as human soldiers in advanced armor. Their weapons had been hidden inside fake rocks and tree branches, scattered around the field. Control, this is Ground Team 7, Mike said. We have visual on alien landing craft approaching our position. Ready to engage. Copy. Ground Team 7, you are cleared to engage. Show them how Kansas deer defend their territory. The alien landing craft expected to find an empty field where they could set up their mining equipment. Instead, they found 30 humans with weapons that could punch holes through starship armor. Admiral Susan Hayes stood in the Global Defense Council chamber, watching screens that showed every part of the awakening Earth. Cities were rising from, hiding on every continent. Orbital defense platforms that had been disguised as space junk were powering up around the planet. Even the moon was revealing hidden bases and weapon systems. All stations, this is Earth Command. Susan announced, Operation Awakening is complete. All human forces are now visible and active. Begin Phase 2. Phase 2 was simple. Hit the aliens with everything Earth had before they could recover from their shock. Captain Ryan Parker watched from Area 77 as the first wave of fighters engaged the alien scouts. The humans had been invisible for 50 years, studying alien technology and preparing for this exact battle. Every weapon had been designed to exploit known alien weaknesses. Every tactic had been practiced thousands of times. The aliens had superior numbers and stronger individual ships, but they had made the mistake of thinking they were fighting animals. Now they were learning that these animals had claws and teeth made of advanced alloys and quantum physics. Target their engine ports. Ryan ordered his ground control teams. Just like we practiced, hit them where their shields are weakest, high above. Commander Vex watched his perfect invasion become a nightmare. His scouts were being destroyed by fighters that appeared from nowhere. His communication arrays were being jammed by signals coming from inside mountains. His landing craft were under attack from weapons that should not have existed on this primitive world. How many humans are there? Vex demanded. Kef checked his new scans, the ones that could finally see through Earth's deception. Commander, I am reading 6 billion life signs. This entire planet is inhabited. Every continent, every island, even the ocean floors show massive installations. Vex felt his heart sink. He had not found an empty world to colonize. He had found humanity's home world, and humanity was not happy to see him. Jake Morrison smiled as he watched alien ships falling from the sky around his newly revealed city. 50 years of hiding were over. Now it was time to fight. The battle for Earth was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. General Peter Brooks stood in his command center, watching as humanity turned their entire planet into a weapon. What the aliens had thought was a peaceful world full of harmless animals was actually the most dangerous trap ever built. Activate the volcano systems. Peter ordered his team. Let's show these invaders what happens when you mess with Earth's wildlife. Across the planet, artificial volcanoes that had been disguised as natural mountains began to erupt. But these were not normal volcanoes. They shot streams of superheated plasma directly at alien ships. The aliens had chosen their landing sites based on mineral readings, not knowing they were landing right next to humanity's most powerful weapons. Commander Vex watched in horror as 3 of his ships disappeared in pillars of fire that erupted. From what his map said were dormant mountains, those volcanoes were not active on our scans. He shouted, "Sir," Science Officer Keth replied, his voice shaking. "I don't think those are real volcanoes. The humans built them, in the Pacific Ocean." What looked like a small island suddenly split in half. From inside, a massive railgun emerged and began firing metal slugs the size of cars at the alien fleet. Each shot moved so fast it glowed white, hot as it tore through the atmosphere. Lieutenant Colonel Maria Santos sat in her control chair on the hidden lunar base, watching Earth's battle through her telescopes. For 30 years, she had waited for this moment. The moon was not just Earth's satellite. It was humanity's biggest weapon. "Fire control, this is Moon Base Alpha," Maria said calmly. "Target the alien command ship. Show them what the moon can do." The lunar surface opened like a mechanical flower. Dozens of massive gun barrels emerged from hidden chambers carved deep into the moon's rock. They had been built over decades, powered by fusion reactors hidden in lunar caves. The first shot from the moon lit up space like a small sun. The metal projectile, launched by magnetic accelerators, crossed the distance to Earth in seconds. It struck an alien cruiser and cut it completely in half. "Direct hit," Maria's gunner reported. "Target destroyed." On Earth, Captain Billy Rogers sat in front of a wall of computer screens in the Cyber Warfare Division. For months, his team had been secretly watching alien communications. They knew every code, every frequency, every command protocol the aliens used. "Begin electronic warfare," Billy ordered. "Turn their own ships against them." Billy's fingers danced across his keyboard. Within moments, he had hacked into the computer. Systems of 6 alien ships. Their navigation went crazy. Their weapons began firing at each other instead of at human targets. Their life support systems started shutting down. "This is impossible." One alien pilot radioed to his commander. "My ship is attacking our own forces. So is mine." Another pilot responded. "The humans have taken control of our computers." Commander Vex realized his fleet was falling apart. Half his ships were destroyed by weapons that came from the planet itself. The other half were being controlled by human hackers. His communication with the home empire was being blocked by interference from sources he could not locate. "All ships, retreat to high orbit," Vex ordered. "We need distance to reorganize." But as his ships tried to escape Earth's atmosphere, they discovered that humanity had one more surprise waiting for them. What had appeared to be asteroids and space debris around Earth suddenly came to life. Captain Jack Sullivan had been waiting in his disguised ship for this exact moment. His vessel had been orbiting Earth for 2 years, hidden among the space rocks that every solar system collected. Now he and 500 other asteroids revealed themselves as Earth's secret space navy. "All units, this is Shadow Fleet Command." Jack announced, "The aliens are trying to run. Don't let them." The hidden ships were smaller than the alien vessels, but they were faster and more maneuverable. They had been designed by humans who had studied every alien ship design for 50 years. They knew exactly where to shoot to cause maximum damage. Jake Morrison watched the space battle from his position on the now-revealed Montana city. Explosions lit up the sky like fireworks as human ships chased alien vessels through Earth's orbital space. It was beautiful and terrible at the same time. "Control, this is Jake. The aliens are trying to reach their jump point. Should we let them go?" Admiral Susan Hayes answered from the Global Defense Council chamber. "Negative, Jake. If they escape, they'll bring the entire Zephyrian Empire back with them." This ends here and now. On the lunar base, Maria Santos targeted the fleeing alien command ship, Moon Base Alpha, to all units. Firing solution locked. This is for all the worlds the Zephyrians have destroyed. The moon's largest gun fired. The projectile was so massive and so fast that it created a visible streak across space. It struck Commander Vex's ship, just as the alien leader was trying to send a warning message to his empire. The explosion was visible from Earth's surface. Vex's ship, along with his message of warning, vanished in a ball of superheated gas. Dr. Kevin Clark watched his screens as the last alien ships were hunted down by human fighters. The battle was almost over. The deception that had taken 50 years to build had worked perfectly. "Carol," he said to his assistant, "make sure our records are complete. The galaxy needs to know what happens when someone mistakes Earth's wildlife for something harmless." Around the planet, human cities celebrated as the alien threat ended. But their leaders were already planning the next phase. The age of hiding was over. Now it was time to take humanity's message to the stars. The message was simple. Earth's animals had very sharp teeth. The silence after the battle was strange. For the first time in 50 years, Earth showed its true face to the universe. Magnificent cities stretched toward the sky, connected by gleaming roads and rail lines that sparkled in the sunlight. The planet that had seemed wild and empty now revealed itself as the home of the most advanced civilization in the galaxy. Admiral Susan Hayes stood on the observation deck of the Grand Assembly Building, a structure that rose from what aliens had thought was just another group of hills in Switzerland. Below her, representatives from every nation on Earth gathered to decide humanity's next step. "The alien threat is ended," Susan announced to the assembled leaders. "But our work is just beginning. For 50 years, we hid from the galaxy. Now, we must decide whether to remain hidden or step into the light." The decision was not difficult. Humanity had spent generations preparing for war. Now they were ready for something much more challenging. They were ready for peace, but peace on their own terms. In the medical bay of the captured alien flagship, Dr. Elizabeth Murphy treated the 7 surviving Zephyrian soldiers. These aliens had watched their entire fleet destroyed by the animals they had come to hunt. Now they lay in human hospital beds, receiving the best medical care Earth could provide. "Why are you helping us?" asked the injured alien commander, a young officer named Zik, who had taken over after Vex's death. "We came to steal your world." Elizabeth smiled gently as she checked his bandages. "Because that's what humans do. We fight when we have to, but we heal when we can. You made a mistake, but that doesn't mean you have to die for it." Zik looked confused. His people had taught him that all species were either predators or prey. Humans seemed to be something else entirely. They were predators who chose to act like healers when the fighting was over. Captain Jack Sullivan prepared the captured alien ship for its journey home. His crew had removed all weapons and installed human-built communication equipment. The ship would carry more than just surviving aliens back to the Zephyrian Empire. It would carry a message that would change how the galaxy saw humanity. "The navigation system is programmed," Jack told Admiral Hayes over the radio. "The ship will take them straight home. They'll have everything they need to survive the journey, plus complete records of the battle." "Good," Susan replied. "Make sure they understand that this is not a threat, it's an introduction." The records were indeed complete. Every moment of the battle had been carefully documented. The aliens would return home with video evidence of humanity's hidden cities, advanced weapons, and tactical coordination. They would show their leaders how 6 billion humans had remained invisible for 50 years, then emerged to defeat a superior alien force in a single day. Jake Morrison walked through the streets of his newly revealed Montana city. Children who had never seen sunlight on their faces played in parks that had been hidden underground for decades. Adults stood on balconies, looking up at a sky they had only seen through cameras and telescopes. "It's beautiful," said a young girl named Lucy, as she watched birds flying overhead. "Real birds this time, not human fighters in disguise." "Yes, it is," Jake agreed. "And now the whole galaxy will see it." Dr. Kevin Clark began the final phase of his life's work. For 50 years, he had made humanity invisible. Now he was making them the most visible species in the galaxy. His communication arrays, hidden for decades, began broadcasting humanity's message to every star system within 100 light years. The message was not a declaration of war. It was an invitation to peace, backed by the undeniable proof that humanity could defend itself against any threat. To all intelligent species, the message began, "This is Earth. For 50 years, We have hidden from a galaxy that seemed filled with violence and conquest. Today, we revealed ourselves to repel an invasion. Tomorrow, we offer our hand in friendship to those who come in peace. The message included complete technical specifications for human technology, detailed maps of Earth's cities, and cultural information about humanity's values and beliefs. It was the most complete introduction one species had ever given to another. But the message also included a warning. The battle records showed exactly what happened to those who mistook human kindness for weakness. Captain Billy Rogers monitored the galaxy's response to humanity's broadcast. Within hours, replies began arriving from dozens of different civilizations. Some were messages of welcome. Others were expressions of shock that such an advanced species had remained hidden for so long. The most interesting response came from the Zephyrian Empire itself. Their high command, having received reports from the surviving scouts, sent a formal message of apology and a request for diplomatic talks. They want to negotiate a treaty. Billy reported to Admiral Hayes, they're calling it the Earth Accord, and asking other species to sign it too. Susan smiled. What kind of treaty? A promise never to attack Earth or any human colony. In exchange, we share some of our defensive technology and agree to help protect other worlds from conquest. It was a good deal. Humanity would become the galaxy's protector instead of its prey. Dr. Elizabeth Murphy prepared for her new role as Earth's first ambassador to the stars. The species that had hidden in shadows for 50 years was about to step into the brightest spotlight in the galaxy. The aliens are ready to leave, she told Susan. Commander Zick says his people will never forget what they learned here. Good, Susan replied. Let them remember that Earth's wildlife is not as harmless as it appears. As the alien ship departed for home, carrying its message of human strength and mercy, the people of Earth looked up at the stars with new eyes. They were no longer hiding from the galaxy. They were ready to join it. The age of deception was over. The age of humanity had begun.